ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं वन्दे कृष्णं जगद्गुरुम्. Okay. अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम्. I am Ananta among Nagas. I am Varuna among water deities. I am Aryama among Pitrus and ancestors. I am Yama among the controllers. Now just see, uh, I am Ananta among the Nagas. Please understand Naga and Sarpa. I had told you the difference maybe in the last talk. Sarpa is a serpent and Naga is a many hooded snake. Now, a multi headed snake is generally not seen, and this Ananta has got 1,000 heads. Ananta has got 1,000 heads. Now, I am Ananta among the Naga. Nag, these are Naga, they are not Sarpa. They are two different words in Sanskrit. Sarp is snake with one hood, and Naga is a multi headed snake. Now, I am Ananta. Even the word Ananta means that which has no end. Ananta. Okay? So, that which has no end necessarily has no beginning also. And no beginning and no end is the Ananta. And so we will come to it later. I am Varuna among water deities. In India, we have a tradition of worshipping all the five elements. So, water also is worshipped as a divine gift. The Lord of Water is Varuna in the Vedic tradition. So these are the names. These names are all Puranic. So they come from Ananta, Varuna, Aryama. And now Aryama among the Pitris. Pitris are worshipped. Ancestor worship is there in many countries, even in India. Thailand also, you will notice that they have a little place of worship right at the entrance of every house and every building, which is dedicated to Pitris and Pitris ancestors. And then say, but now see, here it says that Ananta, you have to understand this thing. Sesha, Sesha, Ananta, another name for Sheshanag. One Nag called Sheshnag, which has 1,000 hoods in our ancient mythology. Now understand the picture. A lot of South Indians worship there. In South India, this Vishnu Seshasai is worshipped a lot. A lot of people don't even know the significance which was told to us by Gurudev, and that is what I am telling you also. The uh, the Kshira Sagar is the Milky Ocean. I have told you before that Kshira Sagar, there is no Milky Ocean in the world, but Kshira Sagar is depicted as an ocean of milk, which is actually the pure mind, pure antahkaran, not just the mind, pure antahkaran. Hmm? Man, buddhi, chit, and ahankar. When there is total purity in that, then it is called the antahkaran or the Kshira Sagar. Now, in that Kshir Sagar, Anant represents, or Sheshnag represents the folded mind, the mind that has been completely folded inwards, because it is a long serpent, Ananta, with no end, and it is folded all to form a bed for the Lord, right?
The Lord is sleeping on that bed. Vishnu, Lord Vishnu is sleeping on that bed. So only in a pure antahkaran, with a totally inward turned mind, a folded up mind, that becomes a absolutely new sleep mattress for the Lord. Okay. Now this mattress, that means the Lord resides everywhere, but he rests peacefully. He finds rest peacefully only in a pure antakaran with a folded up mind. Now, the picture is that Lord Vishnu is sleeping and Lakshmi is at his feet, pressing his feet. Now, Lakshmi, or wealth serves the Lord. So don't run after wealth. Gurudev used to say, run after the Lord, and wealth will have to come because she is the servant of the Lord. And also, this picture has a message. It is that Lakshmi should be at your feet. That means she should be serving you, not sitting on your head. She should not be a master. Wealth should not be your master. Wealth should be your servant. It should give you, it should serve you in every possible way, give you comfort, give you all kinds of facilities that you need and all. But don't make wealth your master. Those people who make wealth their master, their values are all topsy turvy. So this is the picture of Ananta and this thing. So he says that I am Ananta Naga and many hooded serpent, because see, since the serpent represents the since this naga represents the mind, nowhere have you seen a serpent with 1,000 hoods. It is biologically untrue. It's not there. Zoologically untrue, not biology. Zoologically untrue, isn't it? You have never seen a serpent like that, so it must be representing something. It represents the mind with 1,000 desires running in all directions and thoughts. But such a mind, when it is folded up inward, becomes the seat for the Lord. A pure antakaran and a pure folded up mind, in that the Lord rests. The subtle body in every possible religion is described as a snake. The ego, subtle body, I'm here meaning the ego, the mind, is described as a snake. Even in Christianity, it took the form of a snake to tempt Adam, right? To have the forbidden fruit. It tempted Adam to have the forbidden fruit. So what came? A serpent. Okay? Now serpent is depicted as the ego that spouts venom, and that venom stings you. सो अगर आप उसको पालेंगे ना, ईगो को, तो वो आप ही को स्टिंग करता है सबसे पहले. So that is that. So this is the picture, and he says that I am Ananta. Ananta is the purified mind, the folded up mind. And it has no end, because the mind, you never know from where it originates and till where it goes. So that is why Ananta Seshanag. It is an inconceivable length, Gurudev writes, Anant. Now, come here, then come to this one. See, the mind has multifarious demands. That is why the 1,000 hoods. It is also, वो गालिब की गजल है ना, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. It is हजारों ख्वाहिशें. So the 1,000 hooded serpent. But when the Lord is resting in that silent mind, that folded up mind, that mind creates. Our entire Vedanta says that it is the whole world is a mental creation of yours. It is your own projection and then your own perception. Okay? So the reality of the mind is your perception. Now, in such a mind, And in such hushed peace, the Lord creates. And the creation is shown as a lotus rising from the navel of Vishnu. Vishnu is the Lord, and from his navel, see, where are you when you are born, or rather when you are created? How are you created? Aren't you aren't you joined by your navel to your mother? The navel cord is the one that joins you to your creator. So that is why the navel cord, that big stem of the lotus is the navel cord. And then the lotus, many folded lotus, that is the creation in which Brahmaji is sitting. Brahmaji is the known as the creator. Brahmaji is known as Ishvara, the creator. Now the creator creates from the Lord. That is the picture. Okay? So here it is. Okay, let it be. Now, see, it is just this mind that creates the world in and perceives the world. Perception is your only reality, whatever is your perception. And the multiple and multifarious world of objects and things is what the mind projects over here. Now come to the next one, that is of the water deities, I am Varuna. Varuna was worshipped. Varuna is one of the essential factors for sustenance. You cannot live without water. And therefore, the Hindus always worship water. They worship water, fire, air, sun, all the all the nature, and they form them into deities. They've made them into worshipful deities whom they worship because they are life sustaining. And Varuna is the source, not only the source, but also the king of the waters. And so the lord of all the waters, or the king of all the waters, the ruler of water, is called Varuna in the Vedic pantheon. Now here, next one is Pitris. I am Aryama. Aryama, he calls himself Aryama. Now, the in see in Hinduism, we do not believe in death, death. We believe in the continuous of existence, right? Now, when the continuous of existence is believed in many religions, even the Greeks and the Romans have this concept of Pitrulok. Amongst the Greeks, they have Hades, and Hades where the manes live. The word is manes, Manes. Manes are the spirits of your ancestors who continue to live. They forget the past, but they continue to live. They continue to live means exist. They continue to exist. So many cultures believe that the pitris or the spirits are there somewhere residing, and you pray to them to seek their blessings before you. So the head of all these people, or the ruler of the world of ancestors, is Aryaman. Aryaman is worshipped. He is the senior most ancestor, Ariman. So, of the controllers, I am Yama. Now, देखो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. Of the controllers, I am Yama. Death is a power that controls. Death is a powerful means of controlling people. If there is a fear of death, people will not do that thing. And here, Yamaraj is the policing power, the judiciary power, whatever you call it. He is the person who controls. Yama controls. And he controls by the fear. He controls by fear, rules by the fear, rules by the sword of the punishment of death. So, of all the controllers, death is the most powerful. How do all dictators rule? Tell me. All dictators rule like this, that if you don't listen to them, if you revolt or you rebel, the punishment is death. So nobody revolts, nobody rebels because they are scared to die. Huh? So here, this is that. And now the principle of death is the governing factor. Gurudev writes, he controls and regulates life. Also, Gurudev used to tell us that it is a necessary factor. It it regulates your life. Supposing everybody was living and there was no death, can you imagine what would happen? Gurudev used to tell us that all your old ancestors, great grandfather, great great grandfather, great 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 grandfather, mother, grandmother, chachas, taus, everybody will be living in your two-bedroom flat. Still, what will you do? So, that kind of a thing does not happen. They have to move on to create place for the new. Gurudev used to say that you must realize that the younger generation is already elbowing you out. They are saying, make way for me, move. And you have to recognize that. So he regulates life and he controls life, and everything that has to be created has to first face annihilation. Only then it can be created, right? A new building, how can you make a new building unless you pull down the old one? So first destruction, then creation. So Yama is the ruler, the regulator of the entire world. See, an massive earthquake takes place somewhere. It took place in Nepal once, kabhi Indonesia, kabhi kahin kahin hote hain. Now, when the earthquake takes place and everything falls, then only a new city comes up. Otherwise, how can a new city be built? No, it cannot be built. So people keep dying and people keep getting born. Only when death takes place, then a new generation comes up. So, no, nothing new can be created unless destruction precedes it. Destruction has to precede creativity. Okay, so this is the regulating factor. Okay, now then, और क्या है इसमें? Just 1 minute. पितृणामर्यम चास्मि यम संयम, हाँ ये तो हो गया. Now come to the next one. प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालकलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्. See, the Lord is listing all the main things, the things which are the essence of a certain object, place, thing, person, whatever, which is the most important thing, the highest and the most important, the most powerful. So here he is saying Prahladash Chasme Daityanam. Now, amongst the Daityas are Rakshasas, with very, very negative and violent tendencies. They are called Daityas. Now, they were the son of Diti. In your Vedic and Puranic literature, they were the sons of Diti. So, from Diti has come the word Daitya. The sons of Diti, Daityas. So, Prahlad, this great story of Prahlad, I'm sure everybody knows, one doesn't have to repeat it. So, Prahlad was the son of Diti. But then you will say that how come his genes were different? He was a Daitya, but a great Vishnu Bhakta. Prahlad was a great Vishnu Bhakta, and the Lord appeared for him wherever and whenever he wanted the Lord to help him. So, how come it happened? Because even in those days, it is said that when Prahlad was about to be born, he was in the womb, Diti listened to the tales of the Lord. Now, this is what you call prenatal. आजकल है ना, कितना साइंस है ये prenatal training of the mind of the woman, so that the birth of the child is holy and sanctimonious. The birth of the child is of noble values. So, if she reads about noble values, She hears about noble values, she hears and listens to the glories of the Lord, then the child is born loving the Lord. देखो हमारे कितने पुराने स्क्रिप्चर्स में यही बात है, which modern science is today saying. Modern medical science is telling you this, that the prenatal training of a mother's mind and body conditions the child. The child that is born has those same values that the mother has been having through her pregnancy. So over here, Prahlad was born, but he is a Daitya. So all the other Daityas have negative and violent values, whereas Prahlad was a Vishnu Bhakta who was very, very spiritual and a great worshipper of the Lord. He was born, his father was Hiranyakashipu. Now, Hiranya is gold, and Kashipu is like wrapped up in, let us say, or folded around in. Now then, Hiranyakashipu the only means wrapped in gold, which means a materialistic person who has a value only for gold. Gold stands for material wealth, right? So a person who has value only for material wealth is called Hiranyakashipu. To such a father, he was born to Prahlad was born, and yet he was like this. So that is why the Lord says, I am Prahlad amongst the Daityas. And Kalah Kalayatamaham. Kalah Kalayatamaham means that I am time amongst the reckoners. Reckoners over here means calculation. Anything that can calculate, that can ascertain or can count is called a reckoner. You have these ready reckoners, so that a calculator. So here it is, among reckoners I am time. Now in Hindu thought, time and space is one, and time and space is called divine. They are interchangeable. When you are suffering or in pain, how slowly time goes, see, you cannot count. And then when you are in a very happy mood, then you say, oh, how quickly time has passed, you don't know. You see a 3 hours movie, you are so engrossed in it. Do you feel that you are sitting for 3 hours? No, you don't, right? So it's like that. So space and time, when you ask that how far is your house from mine, you say 10 minutes. So you have asked the distance, but your answer has come in terms of time. ठीक है ना? So here he says that amongst reckoners, amongst those that can count, I am time, because time जो है वो see, in deep sleep you are not conscious of time. So there is no such thing as time. Actually, we believe that there is no such thing as time. It's a flux. There is no beginning and no end. We have created the time. We have created the counting of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, we created the seasons, we have classified the movement of the sun, the earth, the moon, and from that we have created days and weeks and months and years, right? It is the creation of the human mind. So we are the ones who have done it. Otherwise, time has no beginning, no middle, and no end. Nobody knows the beginning of time, isn't it? Many times I have told you this, that the first unit of time is called a second. It is called a second because nobody knows the first. So you use a very unintelligent phrase called the first second. What does it mean? When you say the first second, what does it mean? You are saying both. You are saying first and second. So what is it? Is it second or is it first? Don't know. है ना? So you do not know the beginning of time, you do not know the end of time, and it is an eternal factor. Time is a continuous flow. It is a continuous flow. Nobody can count really. So, he says that I am time. And time is the one that also governs actions, governs climates, governs creation and destruction, governs everything, births, deaths, everything time governs. So it being so powerful, it is that. Also, time is the substratum supporting the complete multiplicity of the world. So it is a substratum on which you, because you look through the prism of time at everything. When was I born? I was born in the year of independence, है ना? तो आपने immediately एक particular point in time से अपने आप को define कर लिया. But the fact is that there is no one thing as time. There is no past, only memory of the past. It doesn't exist. No future. Future also exists in your mind only. है ना? क्या होगा? मालूम नहीं क्या होगा. You are imagining, you are projecting. And similarly, that is also no existence. No existence at all of the future. No existence of the past. Bacha kya? Present. Present also, Gurudev used to say that it is an imaginary line because it is continuously changing the future into the past. There is no such thing as present. It is an imaginary thing. Because when I say I am saying, which is present tense, I have already said, isn't it? It has become the past. So, na past, na present, na future. So, what is time? Time is just a flow. It is a continuous chain, continuous flow. Anant, Adi Anant. Adi Anant is the definition of the Lord. So he says, I am time, because it is his definition. Now then he comes to among the beasts, I am lion of the beasts, among the king, and among the king of birds, I am the son of Vinata. Son of Vinata is Garuda. Garuda. He is the Vahan of Vishnu. Why? Because the Garuda is an eagle. So eagles fly very, very high. You remember that movie's name, Where Eagles Dare? It was a high, very high point. So where eagles dare. Now then, eagle flies where no other bird can reach that height. That high they fly. So they're soaring to absolute unimaginable heights. This is one of the powers of Garuda. Drishti, the vision, which is very, very far. Garuda can see very, very far. They say 100 miles, but whether it is 100 miles or what, but he can see extremely far. Where is our vision? Blocked at 20 feet, not more than that. And in Delhi, even less. So then that is it. So Garuda has these powers. Garuda is also a very, very powerful bird in terms of its feathers, in terms of its flight, and it can glide. It glides. Its flying skills are very high. So it glides smoothly and meditatively in the skies, whereas other birds have to flap their wings and they have to make a great effort to go anywhere. So here, this is Garuda. So he says, amongst the beasts, I am lion. Mriga. Mriga is actually animal. In Sanskrit, mrig is animal. And from that word mrigaya, mrigaya means shikar, shikar karne jate hain. So shikar doesn't mean that they are killing only deer. Mrig is also deer. But mrig is also animals. The whole lot of animals are called mrig. So, amongst the animals, I am the lord of the beasts, he says. I am the king lion. I am the lion, right? It is said that the tiger does not attack the lion. Tiger is a more powerful animal. Some people call tiger the king, but the tiger is afraid of the lion. It does not attack the lion. Yeah. So here, पवन पवतामस्मे राम शस्त्रभृतामहम् झषाणां मकरश्चास्मि स्रोतसामस्मि जानवे. The Lord is continuing with his vibhutis. This entire chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. And so it is very interesting because Arjun had asked that in what can I see you in a form? Isn't that what he asked? He said, how can I see you? So he is giving you the visuals, that these are the places where you can recognize me, where you can recognize my divinity, you can recognize my strength. Here he says, Pavanah Pavatamasmi. He says, among purifiers, I am the wind. Among warriors, I am Rama. Among fishes, I am the shark. Among rivers, I am the Ganges. अभी देखिए क्या कहते हैं Pavana Pavatasmi. You know that wind is a great purifier. Delhiites know it very well. With all the pollution in the air, when there is a breeze, when there is a wind, only then everything becomes pure. So, wind can blow away impurities like anything. So, he says, amongst those that can purify, I am the wind, isn't it? Hmm. Pure air. In the early morning, you open your doors and windows. Why? To purify the air inside your house. So when the wind comes from outside or the breeze comes from outside, then the indoors all become swept clean. That's why you have cross ventilation, what they call, isn't it? So that the breeze may flow through the house and the house may get purified. So Pavana Pavatamasmi Rama Shastra Maham. So Ram, I amongst the warriors, या शस्त्रधारियों में मैं राम हूँ. Those who hold a weapon or who are absolutely perfect warriors, I am Ram. So he says, why does he say that I am Ram? Because Ram actually amongst the weapons, Ram, you know, he uses weapons at the right time, right place, and for the right purpose. Ram has never used his weapon to destroy unmindfully. After a great deal of thought and contemplation, he uses his weapon. And therefore, he uses it rightly. So, people who use their weapon for the right purpose, right thing, are like Rama. And that is why in Hinduism, ahimsa, parmo dharma we say, but ahimsa not to be the aggressor wrongly, but only to be a defender. And in defense, you have to use violence. If somebody is being violent, you can't just sit there. Okay, I am a non-violent person. You have to defend yourself through violence. Therefore, all the gods carry weapons, all the goddesses carry weapons, and Ram is the chief among the weapon carriers. So, because he is a perfect man, Adarsh Purush, he is known as the perfect man, and he uses his weapon perfectly. You remember, even while Samudra, you know, one arrow in the Samudra, and he could burn up the whole Samudra with that one arrow. But he did not do that initially. Initially, he prayed to the sea. Even to the waters, he prayed that give me way. Please give me way. I have to go and fetch my wife. She has been kidnapped by a Rakshasa. But the ocean, of course, rules made again by the Lord, which the ocean says that I am under the laws made by you, and therefore I cannot give you way, right? But I can tell you how to cross this ocean. So he gives the advice how to cross it. That is different. But here, Ram only uses his arrow when it is needed, entirely needed. Not like these senseless shootings that happen in America, that you just take a gun, go to a school, and shoot innocent school children. What kind of usage of a weapon is that? You know, disgusting, absolutely. Anyway, so here, so he uses it nobly, correctly, perfectly only when it is needed. Therefore, I am the warrior amongst the warriors is Ram. Of the fishes, I am shark. Now, shark over here does not mean really, shark here does not just mean the shark fish. It means every water living body that is huge, and powerful. So it can be whale, it can be shark, it can be crocodile. All the really big and powerful animals, fish in the sea are matsya. हाँ? अब देखो ये भी जो वर्ड है ना मकरश्चास्मि, मकर, you know the same word as magar. You know magar, crocodile? Huh. And makar, also known as fish. So, amongst the fish, I am Makarashchasmi. He says, all those big, powerful animals who can destroy others, I am that. So, देखो ये जो है ना, again, you know, they all these are symbols. These are all symbols. Now here again, of the fish I am the shark of the rivers. Of the rivers I am Jahnavi. Look what he says. That's Struta sa masme Jahnavi. देखिए Jahnavi. First, the story of why it is called Jahnavi, because the Rishi Janu. Yeah, please get this very clear first in your mind to understand the symbolism. Ganges is the flow of knowledge. Okay. Now, since Ganges is the flow of knowledge, please also understand that when knowledge comes in an unprepared mind, it can blast the mind. So, it can only come to a very, very purified mind, only then knowledge can be digested. Now, the story goes that when the waters of the Ganges came down, it was with so much of force that first Rishi Janu, he swallowed all the water, completely drying up the Ganges. Now, what is this? Can you imagine any Rishi, Muni, or any human being swallowing the entire Ganges? Obviously, you understand that this picture means something else. It is an objective correlative of an idea. The idea being that in the pure mind of a seeker, entire knowledge can be swallowed in. That is why you have phrases like this. When he swallowed all the Ganges, you have phrases in English called the thirst for knowledge, है ना? Drinking at the fount of knowledge. You have these phrases, na? Drinking at the font of knowledge. That means knowledge is a fountain at which you drink. You have thirst for knowledge. You don't drink knowledge with your mouth, but that is a phrase. Similarly, here, that Janu swallowed the waters of the Ganges and he says, dried up the Ganges. That means completely. So, knowledge should not be half. All knowledge should be complete. All knowledge should be swallowed to the dregs, absolutely. You must know the complete knowledge, not half of it. Okay, that is what it means. After that, the picture goes like this, that Rishi Janu spilled out the Ganges slowly, slowly from his ears. Now, ye bhi kya hua? Have you ever seen somebody drinking up all the river and then the river water is coming out through the ear? No, no, you have never seen that. And what a ridiculous picture. And that is the reason why missionaries coming from the West made fun of it, because they could never understand the depth of the symbolic literature, the symbolic philosophical images. They could not understand. It is mystically put, and given out to children as stories, which as they grow later to maturity, the real meaning is unfolded to them. But even as children, you can't give these deep meanings to children. So they were made into stories which the children remember. These kind of stories are taught in our Bal Vihars in the Chinmaya Mission. because the children cannot understand the depth of knowledge. So, this kind of a weird story catches their imagination. The real meaning is that knowledge travels from ear to ear. That is why they are all, knowledge is also called shrutis. हमारी philosophy में knowledge is called shruti because it was from the teacher's mouth to the ear of the student. It was a vocal tradition, oral tradition, and therefore knowledge coming out through the ear, reaching another ear. That is the picture of Jahnavi. And so he says that I am the Ganges amongst all the river bodies. See, he says, Srotas Samasme Jahnavi. I am the pure Ganges. Huh? And the absolute fulfillment of knowledge comes only through listening and speech. Gurudev has said this again and again that unless you learn from a teacher, you can never learn it on your own. So, from ear to ear, the knowledge goes. You must sit near a teacher and listen to that knowledge. And it is given out into the world through speech. Acha, then I told you that the student has to be prepared to receive it. That is why the picture of a rishi is given. Rishis were very highly purified seekers of knowledge. Rishis. They were deep thinkers, very intensely depth of philosophy they researched into. So, in such a mind only the knowledge can be taken in, the knowledge can be drunk only in such a mind. It is swallowed instantly and then given out slowly. So, the picture of the knowledge coming out through the ear slowly, because of oral tradition. Okay, so we finish over here today, and verse 32 we will do later. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.